As James Reeves from TFB TV put it,
They used the spatha for like 10 centuries, and that definitely put more dicks in the dirt than any 1911 ever did.
and this isn't a spatha, it's a gladius. But I like that quote, and I think he meant gladius anyway. So as we all know, this was used with a shield in formation, but as seen in Dragon Blade, John Cusack can fling that thing around and fight Jackie Chan to a stalemate in a 1v1 with no shield. This particular machete, not this specific one, but one like this, was used to commit a hate crime, as opposed to a love crime, I'm guessing. This was the first Cold Steel product I ever got. My uncle did not understand what he was getting me into. So I own quite a number of Cold Steel machetes now, but this was the first one, and it's one of the best. Probably top 3, I would say. Blade length is about a cubit. As Garantham says, we'll go tip to butt. And you could see, how good can you see that tip? In our test footage, you could see I put it through some crap. It is ever so slightly bent at the tip. Still pointy. You know how we fix this? There, we fixed it. I don't want to have to do this live on the video in front of the whole internet. There, good as new. And when you get this, it does come at a needle point. Very sharp point on this. The point is not, as you can see, super rigid, so it does bend quite easily. The point that it came with was so fragile, my sister stabbed this into a tree and it bent the tip. And the hate crime sword, the tip is bent on that as well. So that's a common thing with these. Did I do an okay job? Needs a little bit of work, actually. The tip's straight again. Yeah, just a quick file job. And that should make it even more sturdy than it was before. Might not be as pointy. Yeah, definitely not as pointy. I should work on that. Making it a little bit more pointy. Moving down from the tip, it flanges out, giving it this leaf shape. The flanges are like the sweet spot, really, I find. That's where you want to chop with. You want to be hitting with these flanges. You get a nice, dig into whatever you're hitting. Trees and brush and stuff, because that's what you do with a machete, of course. So these flanges, how it flanges out like this, that might make you think it makes it a bit tip heavy, but the balance is actually right here. Balance is weighed down by the hilt. Moving down to the hilt, this is not a hand guard, really. It's not really a guard. That's just how they made the gladiuses back in the day. They were this shape. And that is kind of dumb when I hear people talk about that. Talk about the hand guard, the hand protection on, and I've done it myself, on swords and stuff. They'll talk about katanas. This little disc guard will not protect your hand. For all the katana fights I'm going to be getting in, when I'm out on the street or some scumbag breaks into my house, he's going to have a katana, and I need the guard to be bigger so his sword doesn't cut my hand or whatever. Although, that might not actually be true. I'll talk about that later. Moving down, this is made of their indestructible polypropylene, which is not indestructible, by the way. But the tang does go through this entire thing. Even down in this disc guard, this is full of metal. So the shape of this whole thing is all metal. So I'm pretty confident that this won't break. Can you hear the vibrations? Whatever. This ribbed handle might look like it might be uncomfortable. It might be weird, but it's not. It does feel kind of weird when you're gripping it, but these ribs grant more friction on your hand. So there's more grip. It's more stable when you're gripping it. And some of these machetes have really terrible texturing. They make your hands blister really fast. I did not, as I was swinging this all day long, I didn't blister when I was swinging this around. So down here at the pommel, I mentioned the metal goes all the way through this disc. And apparently, you see this hole here? People do something called lanyarding, where they take a lanyard and put it through here. They'll like take a thing and put it through, and they'll wrap it around their hand so that if they drop it, it'll fall and bounce around, and that's what you want. If you drop something, for it to be bouncing around on your wrist like this, and a big sharp thing flying around. It's not something I would do, but if you like lanyarding, tell me why, but certainly not for me. So, what do you need something like this for? Why would you need something like this? I'll tell you something, I really, really hate the word need. Why do you need a car that has 300 horsepower? Do you really need that coffee? Do you need your TV to be 60 inches? You are allowed to like things and want things. That's okay, you're allowed to like things. I can try to wiggle around and say this is a gardening tool, because I tried showing, see, you can dig with it, because it's kind of shovel shaped, so you can dig with it. Really, calling this a gardening tool, it's not relevant at all. If you know anything about history, for centuries, gardening tools have been used as weapons. Ask any medieval knight that used a billhook, ask ninjas with their kusarigamas. Gardening tools make great weapons, and this is no exception. And I don't know if I would try digging with this again, because it does, like, there's rocks in the ground, and rocks are harder than steel, especially with these cold steel machetes, maybe more than some other kind of knives that might be harder. These dent really easily if you hit a rock with them. Of course, since the steel is softer, it's easier to sharpen as well. But it's a machete. Machetes are used for chopping light brush, and it's good at that. You can swing this forever. Of course, the tip has some utilitarian purposes, poking holes and whatnot, but I would usually carry this and a knife that weighs like 1 ounce on my hip, like maybe a pocket knife or a mora or something. So when you're out in the field, or you're out adventuring, looking for lost treasure, or maybe you're in Barcelona and you're getting into a fight with a drug dealer, you might need to defend yourself. If you're an actually privileged white in America, you might not ever think there's a need to defend yourself. You might say something ridiculous like, you value like your own virginity over people's lives. Yes, I do. There's bad people out there. Bad people want to violate you, want to kill you, want to take what's yours. And I was thinking about this too, that not everyone has access to firearms. Some people are strapped for cash and only have $30 for something to defend against the local crackhead who keeps trying to break into the house. Or apartment, maybe. Because nowadays, even like a used, beat-up, obsolete piece of crap handgun is still $300. Plus ammo. Plus, that's, like, it's not a simple thing. You have to train with a firearm to be proficient with it. So you're looking at more than 10 times the cost for an entry-level firearm in 2021, where these can still be picked up for like $30 or something like this. I don't know if you can find this particular one anymore. But that's if you live in a place where you can even acquire a firearm to begin with. Some places this might be harder to get your hands on than a firearm. Of course, check your local laws. But there's certainly all different kinds of reasons you could want something like this without being a mall ninja. And besides, what's wrong with being a mall ninja? I don't get why we have to gatekeep hobbies. If you're into historical replicas, that's great. If you like something that's just stainless steel but looks cool, that's great. If you like high-end knives made from the newest super steel, that's great. You're allowed to like things. You are allowed to like things. That doesn't make you a mall ninja. Shout out to Ben for doing the camera work for me yet again. Follow me on Instagram. I got banned on TikTok, so follow me on Instagram. Go watch, I think I could put it right here, the Boar's Tusk Bowie video. All bottles are recycled, refilled, reused. As always, stay safe and keep your sword sharp.